So in continuing with our previous example of adding a test page, I will add a new page here, just so you know I can have multiple pages under this root. So if I right click on projects test, I go to add, I go to add new item. I'm going to create test page 2.aspx. So once I do that, it should be created under my root. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy what I've done here with the script tags. I will do it over here. And then under the body tags, I'm just going to create a script tag. Okay. So as in any language, you have different data types that you need to declare to identify them and label them in memory. Couple of numeric data types that we should be aware of are integer and double and float. Integer represents integer data such as 33, 44. Double and float represent floating point numbers such as 56.8. Okay. In C#, again, every statement needs to end with a semicolon, and one of the first things in programming in C# is you have to learn is the input. With every program, there's basically three components. There's the input, the process part, and the output. We've learned about the output. We're using response.write. Now the input comes with just gathering the input data that you're going to be using for your program or for the particular page. We start with using an integer input. So let's say I wanted to add two numbers. Okay, the first thing I need is memory space in RAM for those two numbers. The way I would do this is I would use a keyword that's provided by C# called int. Whenever I do int, that identifies in memory that I'm declaring a memory space for an integer. And after the int, I have a label, which is called a variable name. So this is called a variable name. Okay, and then if I want another number, then I would say n2 for integer number 2. Obviously, this and this could be anything I want. This is a keyword in C#, and you need to use the keyword int so I can allocate space in memory for integers. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you is an assignment statement. An assignment statement can be done two ways. I can do it after the declaration. I can do n1 is equal to 50, then n2 is equal to 30. I can do it this way, or I can do it right when I define the variable itself. So if I do n1 is equal to 50 and n2 is equal to 30, then I don't really need to do it after. Now if I want to take the sum of those two numbers, I need to create a third variable to store the result, and that's going to be your process step. So what I would do is I would say int sum is equal to n1 plus n2, right? And notice how my label is the exact name that I declared it up here. If you don't do that, you're going to get a syntax error because the compiler won't know what variable you're referring to. So at this point, n1 is equal to 50 and n2 is equal to 30. So n1 and n2, if you add them together, you have an 80. Now, how do I write it out to output? Well, very easy. I can just say response.write and then do sum. Okay, so what this is going to do is the compiler is going to look at these script tags and say, okay, what is here? What is there here that's C# code? Well, this is C# code, so this will be processed on the server. Even though we're writing on the front end, it's processed by the server when you do a request. When you do a request for the page, this page will be interpreted by the IIS. We'll take this, compile it, and then using the response.write as a response back to the client, it will write this value out in between the body tags along with the rest of HTML. So what you have here is a mixture of HTML and C#, where C# gets executed on the server side, and anything that you do with response.write will get executed on the client side along with the additional HTML. So let's go ahead and compile this and run this for test page 2. And then you'll see the sum is 80, right? Because we're doing 50 plus 30, and that'll give you 80. Now, if you notice here, if you do view source, you still have the body tag here. And this is additional data that's put in by Visual Studio. And then you have the body tag here. Okay, now what if we wanted to mix and put in a couple of text phrases on our response.write? And we can do that using a string literal. So I can do the result is and do a concatenation. So when you do a plus sign within a response.write and the left operand is a string literal, then what it tells the compiler is that it's concatenating the value of this variable with this string literal. So if we run this again, now you'll get the result is 80, as you see here. Let's do that. Now, can I put this under a HTML tag? Of course I can. So within response.write, I can do P, and then I'd have to concatenate sum with a right operand and do that. Okay, so what'll happen is now my P tag will have this text along with it. So if I run this, even though it'll be invisible to us, we can take a look that the result is 80. Now, you want to see the P tag that's been generated. If we view source, we can see the P tags that have been appended here. Okay. Another thing that I wanted to show you was the actual developer tools that Internet Explorer comes with, and it comes with any browser. So if you go into Tools and go to Developer Tools, you will see this bottom screen pop up with a couple of things for you to use. The one important one that I use is the DOM Explorer. When you click on DOM Explorer and then you click on Select Element, you are able to click on any elements on the page. So once you click on this element, you will see that the highlighted on the bottom of the HTML. Okay, so we will go into this further as the lectures go on. So if I close this, and that's it. That's the lesson here. So see if you can do an example where you find the product of these two numbers and then write it out after this. So you should have two results printed out. Thanks again. We will meet again soon.